And if it was a bad dream moment, I literally had the whole crowd kind of look at me and turn, and I'm just standing there like this, like, he's like, are you here to kill me? Because I'm like murdered out, dressed in black, just staring at him in the middle of the crowd while everyone's like vibing, having fun. There's just me like.
Donuts and DJs.
Donuts and DJs.
Donuts and DJs.
Donuts and DJs.
Donuts and
Donuts
DJs.
and DJs.
Donuts and DJs.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the T-Beck channel. I got the one and only Chris Coffey with me here today. Welcome back to episode 3 of Donuts and DJs, and we got some very interesting selections today. Stop by Come and Go here in the hood,
Yeah.
and big ol' apple fritter for my man.
Yeah.
This thing I had to get just because I think it's maple bacon, but
Yeah.
the bacon looks there's so much of it on there, so that's kind of weird. I might try that one out though. But yeah. We got the donuts, we got the DJs. Feel free to dig in.
Oh, I will. Yeah,
And,
the apple fritter's got my name on it.
Yeah, and we will start this bad boy. So, let's see.
First off, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks.
I saw the first 2 episodes. I was like, I gotta get in on this.
Yeah, it's been so well received by all the DJs, which has me so excited because that's all I wanted to do is just sit down with the homies and like talk about DJ stuff and eat donuts, and the fact that everybody's like into it is super awesome to me. So, I mean, yeah, we just start with a little introduction. You don't have to do the where, why, and when you became a DJ yet if you don't want, but just a little introduction, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Dude, yeah. So, Chris Coffey, been DJing for, better part of like almost 15 years now. So, I mean, I guess we'll do the where, why, when. I started in like the Quad Cities. I was just telling the story earlier. So, yeah, back in the day, gear wasn't readily available. So I tracked down a dude that had like a pair of turntables that I heard about, and like I don't think he was even trying to sell them. I just was like, "You have turntables and a mixer. I want these." And hit him up, and he became like a good friend of mine, and that was my first set of like janky turntables, my Newmark 1910s.
Nice.
Been doing it now for a while. We do monthly shows. Got a big summer festival coming up. You can catch me any weekend in Ames and Des Moines.
Oh yeah, we're gonna dive into all that too because I have specific questions for all of those things.
Yeah.
So that's a good introduction. I'd say that we've known each other for about probably 5 or 6 years. You're one of those guys too. Like I was talking to Brad Goldman. There was like a certain core group of DJs that I met when I got down here, and I know you were definitely one of them. Mm-hmm. It's like Coffee Tim, Dan, Raj, Johnny Rage, Preon Johnny, Drew Soy. Like there was just this core group of guys I met, and we all kind of hit it off ever since then. Everyone welcomed me with open arms. So Des Moines is definitely a welcoming scene. I think people, I mean, I don't think it's so much competition. It's more like, and even that's kind of where I'm grounded at too. I'd rather like hang out with homies. Oh, we got a special guest here. Yeah. This is Louie. I think. I think the local crew would rather like get along. We're not trying to all be like, oh, who's the best or who's the dopest. Yeah, and there's so much diversity with what everyone does that hardly anybody's ever stepping on each other's toes or trying to compete. So. Yeah, so we kind of touched favorite type of donut. You said you're down apple fritters, glazed donut. Yeah, I like the twist. I like just the basic stuff. The bacon's probably a little too much for me. That was my follow-up question is what do you think about the more gimmicky places, like Hertz and the places that just go crazy with it? I didn't even try it. I actually had some Hertz donuts dropped off in my office one day, and there was so much like grease and oil at the bottom of the box that was just like, I pass. It's definitely a thing, like you got to be in the mood for it. But so that leads me to another good question because it's like, so sweet or spicy? Because like if there's snacks available and it's, I'm a sweet guy. You're sweets? Oh yeah, I'm sweets all the way. And even, just sugar, you're drinking Diet Mountain Dew, that's like right up my alley. Yeah, I'm all like Red Bull and all that stuff. Yeah, Diet Mountain Dew and sugar-free Red Bull are my kryptonite. But when it comes to snacks, like I find myself having to be in the mood for sweets. Whereas like I can be adventurous and I'll always try like something spicy or some, especially if it's a novelty like jelly bean or a peanut or something like that. Sure. No, I heard your questions to the other guys and they said their favorite snack was pizza. I'm like, that's a meal. That's a food. Yeah. Because that's another good question. Do you have other go-to junk foods or snack foods? So I had to actually look at it again too. It was the what's a Smart Food white cheddar popcorn. Okay.
That's like my snack lately. They make it in like little bags, and I think that's just supposed to be the serving size.
Yeah.
I'd grab like 2 or 3 at a time.
Right. That's awesome. We covered beverages.
Yep.
So yeah, where did you grow up and now currently obviously live in Des Moines, but
Yeah, I moved around a lot. My parents worked for the government, so like we moved up and down like the Mississippi River Valley, like Quad Cities, up north by like Dubuque, Galena, that area,
Yep.
then up by La Crosse
cool.
in Wisconsin, and then probably about 8 years ago, I had an opportunity to come out here to Des Moines, and I just really liked it. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Des Moines. I remember even my first time coming here, I saw like Diverse at Liars Club.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, I gotta be out there, you know.
oh yeah, shout out to DJ Diverse, which
Oh,
I
for
know
sure.
he's been checking these out. And whenever you come back to Des Moines, brother, we got to sit down and do one of these.
Yeah.
Because I met so probably the time you met him was one of the first times. Yeah, he came up to Cedar Falls and spun our club, and him and I like met and kicked it off. And
Yeah, he's friends with like friends I knew from Illinois. Like a buddy of mine moved out here to Des Moines. They were close friends, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna introduce you to this dude." And like when I moved out here to Des Moines, Diverse moved to Arizona. Like
Yep.
literally, like in that same like
Yeah,
week
you're
or
like,
month. I know.
oh man, that's crazy though. How small world it can be sometimes. With
yeah.
just like I've had even people like introduce me to people where I'm like, oh, we've met before.
Yeah.
Like they didn't think we knew each other, but we did. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so that's cool. What would you say is your biggest fear? If you have it, unless you have no fear.
Oh, it goes back to like a dream when I was a kid, being chased down by a radial saw, like a huge 20
Oh.
foot radial saw, just chasing me through everything.
Yeah, I feel like that happened a lot in movies and TV shows we grew up with.
Yeah.
Like yeah, kids
Just running away from a radial saw.
yeah, that and quicksand. Like quicksand was supposed to be a lot more prevalent in our lives, and it's not.
It's
but,
not.
All right, so Coffee just said he remembered the story he wants to tell me for biggest fear. So
Oh yeah, it's the biggest reality. So a couple years back, I was in Ames, and Grandmaster Flash was coming to town for Disha, and it was a variety show, like a kind of variety like striptease show. There was a burlesque show that was going on before that. Really random to have Grandmaster Flash, but you don't really miss your opportunity when he comes to town. So I took me and a couple friends. We all went to DG's Tap House in Ames. And if you know me, like sitting in a crowd, I'm dressed in all black, and I'll stand there like a stone. I'll just be sitting there just watching, And a big thing about, especially like old school DJs, where they get on the mic a lot. They do a lot of mic work. Like, everybody in the back, put your hands up. Everybody one time, put your hands up, put your hands up. And he did that 20 times at least. And I'm probably standing there in the middle of the crowd dressed in all black doing this, just
being cool
just
guy.
watching. Not even trying to be cool, guys. It's just like, I don't respond. The bomb could be going off. I'm like, cool. But I'm really just studying him,
Yeah.
I think he was even using a fader knob. They didn't have faders knobs on the mixer they rented. And I'm like, I got fader knobs in the car.
Right.
Like, I went and got him. Like, he's using my fader knobs. I'm like, Grandmaster
Yeah.
Flash is using them. So the show's going on. He's killing it. He's playing a great set. And if he doesn't stop the music in the middle of his set, and he goes, this dude right here has been staring at me all night, not putting his hands up. And if it was a bad dream moment, I literally had the whole crowd kind of look at me and turn, and I'm just standing there like this, like, he's like, are you here to kill me? Because I'm like murdered out, dressed in black, just staring at him in the middle of the crowd while everyone's like vibing, having fun. There's just me like, and I just remember just like shriveling, just being like, Grandmaster Flash just like literally called me out in the middle of his set for not putting my hands up. Like, I went outside, I took a lap. I went like around the block. I'm like, did that just happen? Did that just happen?
Yeah.
So the answer to that story is, now if you ever see me at a show and someone says, everybody put their hands up, you will see me putting my hands up in honor of Grandmaster Flash every time. Like, that was my most surreal moment. Like,
Oh, I bet. I was gonna say, did you have an out of body experience real quick?
I did. I felt the whole crowd turn to me. I felt Grandmaster Flash calling me out, and I felt like I was definitely like just standing there. Like, probably, like, I'm probably unemotional. I just sit there and watch. Nothing phases me like that. And just he called me out. I was like upset about it. Like, when I left later, I was like, I'm a fan. I'm probably one of his biggest fans here. And, it just reminded me to enjoy the show and put my hands up more often. So that's what I do now.
That's awesome.
A true story.
Yeah. Thank you for that story.
Yeah, take some B-roll on the ticket over there.
Where's the ticket?
It's above the sink.
All right. Speaking of movies and TV shows, do you have like a favorite movie and or like TV show series that you're either into right now or like a favorite go-to movie?
I do a lot of like animation stuff lately. I've been
Okay.
watching, was it Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? Have you seen that one?
Nope.
Oh, that's a good one. It's like little vignettes, like little 10-minute little episodes. Each one's different, but that's been pretty good. Been on a real Marvel kick. I got all the Avengers and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff
so I'm
too,
sure you're excited for Endgame coming up.
Yeah, I'm not paying $2 for a ticket though.
No, yeah, I saw they were on sale like a week or two ago, like pre-sale, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a thing for me. It is an event, but it's not
I'll
like,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll wait.
Exactly. Okay. Well, yeah. In the intro, you'll probably see shots of the coffee shop, which is actually behind us right now, which is his little studio room, full of amazing gear. And I just wanted to ask, like, what's the craziest guest you've probably had over? And I mean, I know that like you're pretty close and you've met Sid, so a lot of people would think that's cool. Sid from Slipknot, for those that don't know, stops by the coffee shop every now and then, and sometimes they live stream and I'll be watching and I'm like, I wish I was there. But yeah, just craziest guest or craziest session maybe you've ever had in the coffee
I wouldn't
shop.
say it's. I mean, Sid's obviously a big influence to me. So is Pat and like Touch Nice. I'd say more so than the specific person. I think it's like the group of them all together. Like, I can message a couple of friends that are like, hey, we're open on Sunday. We're gonna be hanging, and like, I think the last time we had a sesh, like everybody showed up within 10 minutes of each other, and that to me was like a big like win because like. You know, you get all these dudes together, they all have their own lives, and they all just show up within, like, hey, I'm here, I'm motivated to come hang and play. Like, sometimes I just sit back and watch, too. I'm like, you want to jump in and join the festivities, I'm just, like, sitting there just amazed by the dudes that are in the room. And
Right.
kind
Absorbing
of take it in. Yeah, you have to just stop, like, turn the power off and watch. I mean, and that was always kind of a thing for me. Like, DJing doesn't require multiple people. It's not a band. I don't need a drummer or a bass player. A lot of people can do it, like, solo. So you try to kind of cultivate an environment where... you know, everybody kind of feeds off each other and inspires each other because that's, I mean, I'm still biting.
Right.
You know, I'm still
that's
watching
almost like
people.
well, it's battle DJing, you can do that too, but then like in jazz, you know, it's called trading fours or whatever. And so like that's kind of another thing that's is really cool to me. And it's so dope that, you know, like you said, people have their own lives, yet when you can line that up, especially for us DJs, because we're all bad with, I mean, if we don't literally put something on the calendar and have to plan on doing it, then we're always like, yeah, we'll get to it, and then years go by and years go by. And
I mean, that's it. I mean, like I said, it's nobody's required to hang out with each other,
Exactly.
you know, and if you can get kind of the environment where you don't even have to bring anything, my stuff's all set up.
Exactly.
Just show up with your computer and we're ready to go.
Ready,
So,
yes,
I mean,
ready to
that's
rock
made that's made it pretty easy.
Exactly, and that's what inspires like my studio in the basement too. Is I want everything just plug and play, ready to rock and roll. So you're ready to record whenever inspiration strikes. We covered a little bit of the when, wheres, and whys. You know, you got into DJing, but if you want to get a little more in depth to it, so you said back in about Quad Cities.
Yep, Quad
15
Cities.
years.
I know, really, it was around 2000, 2001. I remember the first time, like, I've always been into DJ music. Oh, we're doing donuts?
Well, I feel like we better take a bite soon because otherwise people are going to start commenting like, they're not even eating a donut.
They're not even doing the donuts.
So I'm going to, okay, screw it.
Going for it?
Yeah, I'll take a bite of this and then you...
Cheers.
Yeah, let's cheers it and then tell me all about the...
Sure.
Coming up in the Quad Cities.
Money.
Yeah. It's what I thought it would be. It's good though.
So, you know, inspired by like Public Enemy, the Beastie Boys, early hip hop. But like, I think anybody was, you know, if you saw that. Would have been about 2001. I remember where I was. I was in Bettendorf at a girlfriend's house at the time, sitting in the basement. And I saw the documentary Scratch. We were just flipping through channels, and it's like, oh, babe, stop. Watched it for a little bit. She went to change. I'm like, no, go back.
Yeah.
I made her watch it, and then I think that was where I was like hooked. I mean, really, the documentary Scratch is really a highlight of kind of a history lesson, but it really runs the history all the way up to the point of computers. If you watch it, you can really notice there's no computers in that show. There's no Serato, there's no Final Scratch, there's no Tractor. And they leave the episodes or the documentary right at the end going, what's next? And then, you know, obviously, yes, DJ AM and, you know, the Serato blast. So,
yeah,
that was definitely the big, like, when I saw that, I was like on the internet looking at turntables. Like, you know, I didn't have anything locally. There wasn't a Guitar Center in the Quad Cities at that time. There wasn't like a local place to go buy those things. Everything was in Chicago. You want records, you go to Chicago.
Yeah. I remember same thing around the same time because I think we're about the same age. I remember just, like turntables were so prevalent in all kinds of different music, whether it was Beastie Boys or like the new metal scene.
New metal scene, yeah.
And like as cheesy as new metal it was, though, it really like it put a good focus on DJing. And
I mean, Limp Bizkit had DJ Lethal.
Oh yeah, they
I
had
mean,
DJ
he was
Lethal.
legit.
Obviously,
you don't knock him. He was legit.
Yeah,
he was real.
Oh yeah, DJ Lethal, and obviously, like we said, Sid and Slipknot, which I consider Slipknot just metal, not necessarily new metal, but like just like seeing those guys doing it and like actually seeing them in the music videos though too and stuff, and doing the cutting and the scratching. I remember having that itch like, what is this? I need to
I had a different appreciation for Sid back in the day though, because I like metal. I mean, I was listening to heavy metal and Limp Bizkit, Korn, Cold Chamber, Static X, all that kind of stuff, and like you wouldn't necessarily take it from listening to the music. Oh, this hardcore DJing, this really talented DJ. But then meeting him in person and seeing his like scratching skills and his, just his fundamental DJ skills, really have a totally different appreciation for him in a totally different world.
Oh yeah, and then. I was also gonna say I can't think of his name right now, but the DJ in Incubus as well.
Yeah,
is like that stuff would just blow my mind. And it was dope because they would let him have minute and a half, 2 minute long tracks.
Mr. Hahn from Linkin Park,
they're all just So yeah, we covered a little bit of the when, why, where, a little of that inspiration. But are there any artists or DJs right now that are really inspiring you to push yourself or?
I mean. Like 2 Cent, like Four Color Zach and Craze. That's an easy one just because they're top of their game. I really like Benzie, like from Girl Traps and Get Right Radio. Just I like his mashups and I like his bootlegs and stuff. As far as like EDM and bass music, I love like Boombox Cartel, stuff like that. I mean, just a little bit of everything. I mean, music's just one of those things too. You can bite what you like.
Exactly.
As long as it's good, it doesn't matter.
Like I said, with Brad, I was talking about producing music, but same thing with acquiring music as a DJ. I like to think of it as an artist with different colors on their palette.
Yeah.
And so you're just you're gonna paint with different colors. You're not gonna just paint
pull a little from here, pull a little from there, a little inspiration.
And that's what makes it fun because as much as it's fun to listen to one genre of music for a good stretch, and like rock out to it, it's like what they say, diversity is the spice of life.
Oh, for sure.
So, all right, let's say, okay. Craziest DJ story or strangest gig you've ever had, which I know like he DJs in the Court Center building with me a lot. He's like a floor above me, but the Court Center building where we work there, it's never like a dull moment, a dull weekend. So I'm sure. Did I stall long enough to get you one?
No, I'm pretty sure of them. I just don't know what I want to say on an interview. Right. Probably involving a girl in the booth, something like that would probably be one of my crazier stories back in the day, Rock Island. Yeah. Shout out to bars in Rock Island, yeah. Definitely had some interesting stories there. Probably keep those ones private, not to hurt anybody. Keep names private. Can
you think of any like? Have you had any like harassment issues lately with like people yelling at you about music or
no? But last week I had drinks flying by me, and I that's a pretty serious thing, and like kind of catching eyes with somebody in the crowd, like, was it you? And it was a cup of ice, but I saw it come by in my gear, and it just like kind of shakes you for the night. You're like playing defense the rest of the night, looking out for it.
Do you ever like? Sometimes I'll be getting this too, like from guys. They're like, play the next song or mix it up or something. And I'm like, all the girls are still dancing and stuff. And I'm just like,
I'm not doing this for you.
Yeah. And oh, the Court Center building. Favorite genre to play. And like we kind of touched on, it's fun to draw from all genres and stuff. But let's say, someone was like, here's, 45 minutes to an hour long set. Mm-hmm. What kind of... And it doesn't have to be a genre, but what's that Chris Coffey sound, that style like?
Oh, I've been really doing like mashups and bootleg stuff. I mean, that's pretty easy stuff because it's gonna play something people are familiar with, but maybe expose them to a different beat. Trap and twerk kind of stuff. I still like playing all that. Some of the bass music stuff. That's what I've been enjoying playing. It's kind of where I grab on. Like I can play, because I'm familiar. I have the hip hop background, and then to do the newer beats, kind of just flows right into stuff.
Yeah. And it makes it fun too, especially with I noticed, and I was talking to this with my other buddy. Some of those, like they do a lot of like then and now is what they call them, where it's like the words from now and a beat from then or
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
And some of them are really dope, and then some of them are just
Yeah.
But like,
You're really trying to stretch that song. you
yeah,
know?
and same thing what I said with Goldman is like in the sync button and how you can create just insane mashups
Yeah.
and stuff with that. And like sometimes you make something that's amazing,
Yep.
but most of it is just like nonsense. But
Well, and even on the sync comment, it's one thing to me. It's like I listen to the pros. If they weigh in on a topic, you should probably listen.
Right.
And it's to me back in the day, maybe comments were made like I just took it as lazy. Like you can't adjust the pitch on your own. Stuff like that. But if you're doing high level stuff and you're doing it, like this.
Exactly.
Why not? I mean, that's what the technology's there for. So to say you can use all the other things on your mixer, but don't touch that.
right, yeah, it's silly.
It just sounds silly. I mean, people cook different meals the same way, or differently,
Exactly. I've always loved the DJ and chef analogy too. I know that some people probably just think it's us DJs wanking about ourselves, but
no.
it is really cool because we do spend a lot of time cultivating tracks just the same way a chef would cultivate and prepare ingredients. And we prepare and we plan and we try to execute as flawlessly as we can so
Yep.
that the mix, the sounds sound delicious to your ears just like their food would taste delicious to you.
Yeah,
So-
the homie Junie C said it best when he was talking about scratching. He's like, it's the spice, it's not the meal.
Exactly.
For people who want to go watch 10 minutes of cutting, yeah, that's cool and all, but like you lose a crowd,
Yeah.
or it's over their head.
Exactly.
Just add a little flavor to the set.
Exactly. Does it serve the song? That's
Yep.
always a good question. So yeah, like you said, the stuff, the twerk and all that stuff that is your favorite to play or those things.
It's just bouncy hip hop.
Yeah. Here, let me rephrase this. So the stuff that you like to play, out for the crowd and stuff, do you have a switch up that you listen to like at home or driving in the car as a palate cleanser kind of
Oh
thing?
yeah, I've been on a metal kick lately. I
Hell yes.
bought up a bunch of Metallica the other day. Going back to new metal, I've been buying up just albums. I probably owned them before. That's the
Yeah.
upsetting thing is I like sold a bunch of stuff a long time ago or get rid of it just to make room, like you saw in there.
Yup.
So I'm going back and rebuying old albums and just stuff for like maybe just one song. Just
Right.
like I'm
That
get
one
on-
Mudvayne album for Dig.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah, LD50.
Yep.
Yep. I've just been revisiting the 90s. And the worst part is like Facebook. It just keeps recommending me this stuff I like.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I know that's what makes me giggle the most too, though, is when they like make memes with either '90s club music that's overdubbed on it or like metal and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is my jam. What aspect of the craft are you currently working on or pushing yourself in?
It's still scratching. I mean, that kind of goes in waves for me too. There is a big kind of resurgence in the scratch culture and just turntables in general. And you saw with like the portable, it kind of just focuses on just cutting. I'm not looking at the mixer. I'm not worried about a filter. It's just cutting, and it's harder. I mean, for me, it doesn't come natural. Like some of the stuff I can just kind of do, but like to think of the 2 forward, 1 back, like and keeping like the fader open, like I have to mentally think about that stuff, and it's a lot of repetition, and it goes through phases in my life. Some days I'll be like, get off work and just want to go and cut for half an hour. Sometimes I'm like, just looking at the room, like I probably should go in there.
Yeah.
I need to go practice. But that's been the thing, and even with hanging out with some of the dudes that I look up to as like role models and influences, they're on the same thing. And I mean, that's hopeful for me that like you look at people who you respect and they're still practicing. They still are trying it every day.
Oh yeah, I mean, same thing with like guitar players and stuff. Like you can never stop practicing, or skateboarding. Like you always have to get your warm ups out of the way just so you can even get into shape to
Yep.
play, and then and you have to practice to get better. No one wants to stay stagnant, I don't think. Anyway. Do you produce any of your own original music or remixes? If so, do you use like a DAW, digital area workstation?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
No, I never have, and people ask me that, like, oh, do you make music? Like and I think fundamentally I probably could. Like, if you DJ enough, you should understand the structure of music and stuff. And my go-to comment on that has always been, I just still want to be a better DJ. I look up to like people who are just super dope, and I'm like, that's where I want to go, And production to me is just a whole nother animal, because I feel like I do enough. Like if I'm doing shows and then trying to get into the visual and lighting kind of world and sound, that's just one more thing that I would half-ass. I wouldn't be able to give it like 100% or anything.
I totally understand it. And but with that being said, so you don't use a DAW or anything, but do you ever just record your own like edits or mashups or anything?
No, I don't. I probably should, but I don't. I just like I said, just trying to tighten up what I can do. You know?
I hear what you're saying, because there's so many times where I'm playing like whatever you want to call it, a mashup or an edit that I do live. And I'm like, I could just throw this in Ableton so I don't have to do this live every night.
Reproduce it every time.
But I'm like, but then at the same time, like, that's my job, and that's, you know, practice and just staying up on it and, like, making the edit just so it's easier for me to play out live. Just, it's a shortcut.
My buddy was telling me the concept about married songs. They're like songs that are like, you can't play one without playing the other. You're going to drop this track, and in your head, instinctually, you're like, I got to play this. It's awful predictive for the crowd, but you're like... Yeah.
And sometimes we have to, like, force ourselves to, like, okay, we got to go figure something else out.
Something different,
even you get sick of, like... Damn it! I know I'm gonna play this one. That's gonna make me want to go to that one.
You're gonna transition into the same one next time because it sounds so good.
Yeah, yeah. And other people are like, I don't get it. Like, you would.
Yeah. You would.
Do you have any? Well, okay. Let's not get there yet. Not yet, because this is a really good question for you.
Okay.
Favorite piece of gear, which obviously we saw a lot of gear in there. And I mean, it could be a whole setup. It doesn't have to be just like a turntable.
I mean, right now I love the rain setup. It's a lot. It's big.
Yeah.
You know.
You're talking about that 72, right?
It's the 72 and the 12s.
Kind of jealous.
They feel like real turntables. They take away a lot of the... I'm not worried about vibration. I'm not worried about my needles breaking. I mean, I have backup needles. I have stock of needles now, but like, it's one of those things that allowed me to kind of like chill. I used to be at shows and be like, get off the table or quit jumping or quit bouncing next to me. Now, like, I'm sitting there just showing off like, oh, just hit that. It doesn't matter now. And that's allowed me to kind of like relax a little bit playing rather than like being protective and defensive the whole time. I really enjoy it. I don't get to play out with it quite as much as I'd like to right now, just because either you're playing sets with other people and they don't have, you know, the stuff for it or knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of does their own thing. So sometimes lately I've been doing just like a controller or, you know, when I come home, I use Tractor at home. I play out with Serato, but I use Tractor at home. Like, that's the home setup. So I still like my 72 or the Z2, and I like the 72. I even went back and bought a 62 just to have one.
That's what I use all the time at the club, but that's why I'm curious to get to the 72 because that's the new, the new fancier upgraded version. Which...
It's just like the S9 and the 62 and the 72 just had a kid, just like that.
Yeah. I'd love to mess around on that sometime.
Yeah, the onboard. I mean, the screen's cool, but you're not necessarily like glued to it. It's nice to take anything that you're taking your focus away from the computer. If I could make a set, I can actually do a whole set without having to look at my computer once it's there. I just scroll through tracks, see the names, you can see the waveform. It's all right there.
That's really cool. Do you have any advice for people that want to get into DJing? Or, I mean, it could be, we'll start there. Do you just have any advice for any kids out there, anybody who wants to get into DJing, or maybe, a DJ that's taking some time off but it starts to get the itch and wants to get back into it?
Sure. I think do it for yourself. I mean, like, some people do it. I think there's some kids that do it. They see like EDM or the big DJs, and that's really more like producers playing their tracks. That's the format where a producer can play their music, I think everybody likes music, so I mean, if you like, kind of like Goldman said too, just invest in a piece of gear. It doesn't have to be the most expensive one, but go home and play with it. You're gonna hang out by yourself quite a bit, so I think that's an important thing. And I mean, it pulled me even away from like video games. Like, I don't play many games or anything anymore. Right. It's like, if I have time for that, I have time to go back and practice or do something different.
Said that exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think if you
like, I let myself play Red Dead for like about a month or so, but then I'm like, I started to get sick of that, and it's just like, I'm wasting my time because I could be practicing and getting better,
discovering new music. I mean, just even searching record pools or searching the internet, just it takes time. And so, like, if you're really into music and you really like it, I mean, kind of succumb to it and give yourself to it a little bit. I think you put in the time, it rewards it. Whether it's personally or if you start getting booked and you want to go out and play shows, there's platforms to do it, even locally, whether it's Wacky Wednesday or free nights at Lime. There's nights for novices to go play.
Exactly. That was my kind of follow-up question to that, though, is like, for the bedroom DJ, maybe the kid that's not wanting to get started, but the kid that's already started a little bit and he just plays in his bedroom, but he needs that little push over the edge, that little confidence boost to go out to one of the free nights or to hit up one of the other fellow DJ promoter guys. Any advice for those kind of people, like, step out of the shell, getting booked?
Well, don't do what I did. Don't write your phone number on a mix CD and go hand them out to managers, because that's when I moved to Des Moines. That's what I did. I went door to door, knocking at bars, going, "Can I speak to your manager?" And I was that guy with my phone number on a mix CD, going, "Hey, I don't want to take someone's job, but if you're ever in a pinch, here's me. You know, I can respond in 24 hours. I would say, even if it's there's so many platforms nowadays, even with the internet, you could be doing a live stream and have just as many followers or people that are into you than are at the club. Sometimes people are just at the club to be at the club; they're not really necessarily listening to you. With the platforms that are out there now, whether you're doing SoundCloud, Mixcloud, or you want people to physically see you when you're doing these shows, you can do that. Or you can get in contests. I mean, there's all kinds of platforms and ways to do it. I think going out and supporting other people's shows is a really positive thing. I think if you go out to other shows and talk to the right people and say hi. I mean, I got a guy playing a show this month that he just came up and shook my hand and said, "Hey, how do I play this?" And that's enough for me. You give me a mix and let me hear it, and you're good. You're good enough. Like you'll play. Like I can respect somebody that like goes out and kind of puts their best foot forward. So.
Exactly. And I don't think the way you like you said, you handed out a mix to you with your number on, I don't think that's too bad.
No, it's just cheesy. That's a real nerve-wracking thing. Hey, can I speak to a manager?
And nowadays we do have Facebook, so you can seriously just copy-paste a message and then just change out the important details for each venue, the specifics.
Very impersonal, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would say that's all good advice. The one thing I wouldn't do though is just like go to whatever resident DJ or whatever person you see at a place all the time, and then go to them and be like, "Hey, how do I take your spot?" Essentially.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between asking a DJ for advice and help, and then just saying like.
And doing it while they're playing is not a good time.
Or like,
either.
"Hey, how do I freestyle over the mic during your set?" And
you don't.
Yeah, and like, it's so hard to be nice sometimes because you can say no once or twice, nice, but then you're like, how do I get creative to say no nice over and over again? Like, you're not getting the hint. But
well, and like I said, those are the worst times to get into like an in-depth conversation with somebody. Like, "Hey, can I talk your ear off right now while you're in the middle of this?"
Yeah.
You're working now, but I need to talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I had a girl, bless her heart, she was nice and stuff, but she was trying to have so many conversations with me at the beginning of the night the other night, and I was just like, I told her, I was like, "I can't hear you," but she just kept talking,
I've been better at now at like, "I can't hear you, walk around," like doing like sign language to people.
I don't know Air Force signals, I only know military, but yeah. Okay, where do you see DJing, or where do you hope DJing takes you in the next 3 to 5 years?
Takes me. I have no intentions. I didn't ever get into this to be like famous, or like I'm not trying to be like number one. I think a lot of it's kind of that personal. Just building on what I did yesterday, and kind of like when I hear like the people I look up to discuss it, I'm not like in competition with anybody. I'm just like competition with myself. Like I want to at least push myself to try to get better, or kind of get to that next plateau. Even with scratching, I'm like right on the edge of like getting better at something, and you want to just kind of, okay, I got that. What's next? You kind of build on a lot of steps based on certain techniques. That's really about it. I feel accomplished in some things I've done, so it's not like I'm chasing after anything. I still like playing. I think there was a time, even before I moved to Des Moines, I was in the Quad Cities, and like I already had ran the gamut of DJing at bars, breaking up with girlfriends, fighting, like in the booth, like I've already been through all that. So when I moved out here, I thought I was almost like honestly on like kind of on my way out, like where okay, I'm gonna DJ at home and maybe weddings. And when I came out to Des Moines, I was very well received. Just meeting people and meeting the right people. Like met George over at Lime. I used to just play Lime for free. I'd go there on Sundays and play for free, and the bar staff and I would get along, and it's like, oh, Sunday turns into a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and just kind of stuck with it. It like I said, I kind of felt like I was already on my way out, and so really like I appreciate still doing it, and that I can do it like in public. I'd still be doing it at home, but the fact that I still get booked for stuff, or still can like keep a pretty busy weekend, like that makes me happy enough.
That's awesome. And so another follow-up question to that then is like, how often would you say, do you experience burnout ever? Do you?
Oh yeah.
And like, I mean,
oh yeah,
we all do.
I just got over it.
Yeah.
I literally did. You do. You get burned out. You get uninspired by music. You get uninspired by the crowd. People make you feel bad, or like
anxious.
Well, the best part is, so the nights where I get tipped the most money and get the most compliments are the nights I do the worst, where I'm sitting there like, what? You like that? Yeah. The nights I kill it or I feel like I did great, crickets.
Yeah,
nothing.
Like, why'd you play techno all night? You're like, what?
I did the job I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah. You get burned out. You get just, like I said, uninspired, or it's really more of a head game. You know, you really got to just keep your head about yourself, surround yourself with good people, and you know, if you're working too much, take a break. A break isn't a bad thing. It's kind of necessary sometimes.
I was just gonna say that, like, there's some of us, especially us nightclub guys, you know, it's like there's that weird feeling of like I have to be there every weekend.
Yeah,
if I'm not there, they're gonna forget about me.
You feel like you're not
something.
relevant or something, or you're gonna lose your gig.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the place is gonna run without you. So it's really about your mental attitude. Like, if you're in a good place, usually your music's in a good place.
And yeah, I notice every time I take a weekend off or whatever, and like I'm just so much happier and hungrier when I get back, and my mixing's fresher and tight. Like everything's just a little bit better. So whenever you're feeling a little stressed or a little down and out about it, just give yourself a week or a weekend off, and you'll be surprised.
And that goes hand in hand with like residencies. Like I love a residency. I love the consistency. I love the platform to be able to kind of play what you want and kind of experiment. But it can breed kind of a unappreciated feel sometimes, where like, because I play to the staff a lot. The staff are the ones that have to hear me week in, week out. So like, when I'm playing to them, I try to like, you know, keep that happy, and then, you know, if they're just like, oh, that's just coffee. That's, you know, it's like, oh, dang it, I don't got it no more.
But the best part is when you're like trying to make eye contact with a bartender across the bar, and all the people in the crowd in the middle of the thing are like,
Me?
Me?
Yeah.
You, me, him?
Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I forgot this question somewhere back in here, but if we don't talk about all of these behind us, because I think it was supposed to be a follow up to the favorite gear, but obviously, if you can't tell, my man loves his Control Vinyl and has tons and tons of them. So I was gonna ask you if you know roughly how many you have. What got you into collecting Control Vinyl, and then like, do you have a favorite set or a favorite one?
Sure. I have over 200. It's like collecting shoes, but I also say it's like collecting stamps, but I think it's like a different flavor for the night. Like you want to wear an outfit or match your shirt, you can do that. It actually started with Charles, turntable trucker, Junie C. I was a tractor guy, so the joke for me was Serato white records are a highly coveted record. It's an expensive record. They're promo only. You only get them if you're somebody, or you pay a lot for them. In Tractor, it's a $15 record. Yeah. So I had whites. I'm like, why would I pay $400 for a white pair of records when I have whites in Tractor? But once I got a Serato mixer, when I had my 62, it kind of like you buy one, then you just get compulsive. You're like, oh, I need to get all of them in this set, and you start, you know, there's online collectors groups, like shout out SVCG, like that kind of was where I got bit by the bug, and then just you start to collect stuff. There's a lot of neat art ones. They're not just colors. There's picture discs. And
people keep wondering why I'm looking this way.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of dope ones over there too.
And see, some of them are like doubles of stuff. Like these are the ones that I was willing to present, and some of them are like super rare. Like those are all Japan only. Like,
I was looking at those flags. I was like,
so like some of them are just like really like cool to look at, and it really becomes like a collection. Like I have a story about each one I could tell you. Like, oh, this is blah blah blah. Or, this is a misprint.
I can make a whole series on that.
Yeah.
Like, Coffey's Control Vinyl, and
just hearing stories about them or how you got them. So like, I probably have some favorites. My neon ones, like the pink neon up there, like that's probably like my favorite series. Like they're just a bright record, and they look really cool when you play on them. They also made a series for the collectors, where one of the collectors made the artwork for it, and then that got voted on and then chosen. Cool. And he's dope. That's Digilog Designs, Walt Peterson. He did the ice, and that's a really cool looking pair, kind of a blue transparent pair.
Nice. That's dope. Yeah, and we're gonna, I'll roll some B-roll of that, and we're definitely gonna put those in the intro because they're so awesome, and you have so many of them.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. It's like an extension of gear. Like, I like gear. Obviously, you saw it in the other room, and it's like one of those things where like, okay, you bought all the gear you got, and then you're like, well, I could buy these too, you know. And you just start collecting stuff, and it really becomes like that. You want to collect them all. I mean, it's Pokemon on my wall for sure.
Exactly. And for me, like I have, my wife got me some display mounts for my guitars, and when I was in Cedar Falls in my office there, I had them all hanging up. And since I moved home, I haven't hung them up yet. So some of my guitars just sit in the closet and don't ever get out. But like, it's one of those things where it's like you find your thing that you really love, whether about music and whatever it is, and then somewhere in there you're going to be able to decorate with some piece of that gear.
It's on my coffee table.
Right? That's true too. Yeah,
they're everywhere.
It's so awesome.
This is like I had to get rid of posters. My friend was giving me a hard time that I had movie posters all over my apartment, and it's like, okay, you got to get rid of like the college dorm look in here.
Yeah, so I was gonna say
this is my attempt at adult art right here.
Well, it does look nice. And for us, like, you know, DJ gear nerds out there, like, yeah, I know there's going to be guys out there that are like, just drooling over your collection.
Or, I mean, other people criticize it too, like, that's stupid. Like, they're blank records. I mean, some are pressing, some have music on them, some are just blank. But, I mean, it's some people collect stamps. You can't play your stamp.
Yeah, and value, just like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder, you know?
Sure.
So, like, and especially, like you said, limited runs, you know, rare prints, etc.
Yeah.
So,
now I've learned to just buy them when they come out. I don't wait for it to pay more later down the road.
exactly.
I just buy it right when
it's
it
like,
comes out.
just get it.
Just get them now.
I mean, we kind of touched on this, but just any, you know, final thoughts on the Des Moines scene in general, whether it's club, festival, shows. Yeah, just thoughts on the Des Moines scene. I mean, obviously we've said it's been
exciting.
very welcoming.
I've enjoyed it in Des Moines. I moved to Des Moines, you know, without like a network of friends and stuff. I mean, I had some people that I knew, but I enjoy Des Moines. I'm happy to be here. I mean, I'm staying here. I have no intention of going anywhere. The scene itself, I kind of revert back to another quote I heard with A-Track. He's like, you know, with the EDM bubble and kind of the music, DJing's at its biggest it's ever been. And people criticize it. Maybe it's not your type of DJing. You know, if it's not turntablism and it's not scratching, that doesn't really matter. Like, DJing got to a really big place, and you should, like, support it, even if it's not your type of DJing.
Exactly.
You know, some of the music, like the shows that are being played right now, they're exciting. I like music. I like headbanging. You know, I like heavy bass. You know, I think there's enough for everybody locally. Like, there's a lot of shows. People do their own shows, and I support all of it. You know, I think it's good. I mean, even I do my own show. We do our own show with my group of friends, and I mean, some shows are jumping, some shows aren't. But you don't do it for like the money. It's not a money making venture. It's like you do it for the scene. You do it for friends. You do it just to kind of do it.
Yep, and that's music in general, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to make money, you know, and if you're in it for the money.
Yeah, and you're counting every dime. It's depressing, but if you're like, all right, this one wasn't so good, on to the next one. You know?
Yeah, but if it's what you love to do, you know, they say you never work a day in your life if you love what you do. So.
Oh, and we have a riot. I mean, even when we're setting up for our shows, we're just like talking shit the whole time. You know?
Oh yeah,
so
just joking and pranking.
Yeah, nobody's getting, you know, oh, I didn't get my such and such money. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, and exactly what you said about, like, you say you moved to Des Moines with no friends. It's like I had friends back home in Cedar Falls and Waterloo and stuff, but like I found that over the 5-6 years of me coming back and forth every weekend or every other weekend here, that like I was like, man, I just want to be down and closer to all my DJ buddies down there, because I have such a bigger network of like musical people and artistic people that I was like, I can't wait to talk to all these people and just hang out with them. So then when we pulled the trigger and moved down to Ankeny last July, I was like, but you know.
Yeah,
and
well, that's it. I mean, I look at the percentage of who my friends are here, and they're DJs. I mean, it's all just other people I've met.
Or
through
service industry.
Yeah,
you know,
networking. Yep, exactly. And just met through networking, and all good people. I mean, or I wouldn't be hanging with them.
Exactly, and it's amazing too how many people are willing to like just help you out, like give you a hand in something, or like, you know, someone knows someone who's going to put on an event, they need a DJ or something, so they're quick to like say, oh, my friend does this, and then boom, you have a random side gig, you know, here and there, and like.
Well, I try to make myself presentable for that too, because like someone needs something that, you know, I forgot a chord, or I don't have a record or something. I've driven stuff down to, you know, just people I barely know, just being like, hopefully you do it for me.
Right.
You know, I treat people like I want to be treated.
Pay it forward, good karma stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Otherwise, I was just going to let you plug, you know, your current gigs and current upcoming events you might have.
Oh, we've got a couple. We've got. I've been doing AJ's and Ames pretty consistently now with Mug Night and some weekend gigs.
Pretty crazy there.
Oh, it's a blast up there. It's a totally different market. Just you know, 40 minutes north of here, you're in a different market, and they come to party. So that's been a lot of fun for me lately. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Eclipse and Voodoo Lounge, so that's been a blast lately. That's been a really good vibe over there. I'm returning to the Exchange this Saturday. I don't know how quick this video will be.
It's going to be up today or tomorrow.
Word, yeah. So I'll be there this Saturday back at the Exchange for one night only, just coming in to fill in. So that's always a good time to come see the old homies.
We'll be back in the Court Center building.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We've got a big show coming up April 19th at Vaudeville Muse for our super awesome productions. We do Frequency. It's a monthly EDM show. Bring in some big hitters sometimes. Try to do local, you know, up-and-comers, a little bit of everybody. We flip like what kind of music we did. Last month was techno and house. this month is Big Bass Show, so we're excited. We got the return of Roger That.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Timmy's coming back. We're
I had
pretty
to do
excited.
a double take. I was like,
He's been down. He's been out for 2 years, so it's exciting to get him back. He's one of my favorites.
That's awesome.
We've got a big show this summer. We got Basswoods. This is the 3rd annual Basswoods coming out to. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. Briar Patch.
Yeah.
Took me a second. I was like, I know where I'm going. Out at the Briar Patch, out in just south of here. That's going to be a big show. That's July 19th and 20th. Can't tell you who's playing it yet, but that'll be dropping here soon. Yeah, that's a secret, but we got some big surprises for you. That's about it. That takes care of a big chunk of my summers right there.
But yeah, you got a lot going on, and of course, as always, all of the links for all of those events and all of Chris Coffey's social media links will be down in the description as always. So go check those out. Give him follows. Give him likes. Go to his events. Check him out. Say what's up to all of us DJs here in Des Moines. And yeah, man, we better take another bite of these donuts.
Cheers.
For DJs and Donuts, that's Chris Coffey. I'm T-Beck. Till next time, we out.